or Lungelo, Gumede, I'm an artist. I started doing art in some nane, and this is a primary. Because I remember at school I used to draw utisha if on this. Most of my textbook, ngang a page pad and do my drawings, you know. So, but I didn't realize back then what I was doing was art. Because for me, now I was doing that it's just a talent. I only realized after I finished matric, what I was doing was art. Because I was discovered by the guy called Manfred, who saw my drawings, and then he took me to the Bed Center where we are today, where I studied in visual arts 2003. So, that's how it started long time ago when I was like in primary school. For me, it was just art, you know. And basically, I found the art schooling as a subject. So we didn't know any other artists about Picasso, Michelangelo. All those famous artists about Van Gogh, we didn't know them. So we didn't have anyone or anything that is inspiring us so that we can continue doing art. The only time was when my work was auctioned, and then it cost so much money in a way that I was inspired to do more or to actually follow art as a career. The history of art saying is DUT saying fine art. That's when I realized there were artists before who did this and that and that and that. But I wouldn't say I was inspired by them, because when I learned about them I was already inspired, I was already an artist. So I would say I was inspired by the work that I did, that was sold, that was auctioned, that was making money for me. Then I realized that this is a career. I can take art as a career and continue doing it. I started traveling when I was young, when I was 18 years. I went to Rome in Italy. When I was in Rome in Italy, I had to present my work to the parliament in Rome. I was invited by the government of Rome in Italy, where I presented my work there. While in Rome, I was spotted by the guy called Mark Crandall, who works with the company called Hoops for Hope. So they were raising funds using art. So they invited me to come to New York, where my work of Nelson Mandela was auctioned. That's when in New York, I discovered the Madame Tussauds Museum, the Museum of Work Statues, where they do all these statues. I was in New York. Then coming back from New York, I started doing these work statues and everything. And while I was doing these paintings and work statues, I did the painting by Forrest Whitaker, who's an American actor. And then when he came to South Africa, we gave it to him as a present. And then when he went back to Los Angeles, he asked me to do other painting of his friends. If I talk about his friends, I'm talking about Denzel Washington. I'm talking about Abu P. Diddy.
Yeah.
About 50 Cent and everything.
The legend.
So he's the legend. So I ended up doing the collection of all the African American actors. About Lawrence Fishburne, about Oprah Winfrey. I did about Obama. I did Obama and his wife. So then after doing all those paintings, then I had to go to Hollywood, and I had a one-man show, like a solo exhibition in Hollywood.
Wow.
Yes, that was in 2015 when I had that exhibition. It was a very successful exhibition. Then while in Hollywood, I also get a chance to meet Floyd Mayweather. I did the painting Yake, and I gave it to him. And I also did work for Dr. Dre. I did his offices in Los Angeles, California. I did about 5 of his offices doing my paintings, doing him and his wife. So there's so much work that I've done. Also met Oprah in Chicago. I went to Chicago and I met Oprah and I gave him his paintings. Also went to New Orleans. I did the Essence Music Festival. I was the only non-American artist to exhibit in the Essence Music Festival. That was in 2007. I've done 2 big projects. The one that I did in Los Angeles in California, when I had the one-man show exhibition in Hollywood, was the highlight of the big project. Because I had all the A-list celebrities attending my show in Hollywood. I had to meet most of the African American celebrities that I did work for. I think that was the biggest project that I've ever done. And back at home, like South Africa, one of the biggest projects that I've done is when I did 30 statues of Mandela. I did 30 statues of Mandela celebrating his life from when he was young up until his death. It's just his life changed.
At home, we are coming to you from the Nelson Mandela Museum here in Mthatha, where a wax artist is showcasing his statues of Tatu Nelson Mandela from his birth up until the day he passed on. There are many statues in one of the rooms.
So it was like a series of
statues.
Statues. Wow.
Yes. Right now they're permanently displayed at Mandela Works, at Mandela Museum, Nelson Mandela Museum in Mthatha. It's a permanent display. I'm talking about the wax and the bronze statues. I'm talking about the project that's worth plus minus 35 million. That's the biggest project in the country for an artist. I don't know if there are other people who've done something bigger than that, but for me, you know, that's the biggest project that I've ever done. Because I mean, those statues then with my own money. It was not government sponsored. It was just my work that I did. Then it went to Nelson Mandela Museum and it's displayed there permanently. The only time the government will support you is when they need something from you. If they need something from you, they come to you and they pay you to do something for them. That's the government. According to my experience, I don't know, maybe there are other people who can come and say, "Mina ngisizo government." When you talk about government, there are three spheres of government. You're talking about national government, then you're talking about local government, which is like the premier's office and all the municipalities. So what happens with me, I have tried so many times to get funds, to get sponsors from the government with no answer, failing. So angazi ngilithole usizo from the government with my project. The only time I get help, or it's not even getting help, because when the government wants something from you, they pay you. It's like I'm working.
Yeah.
It's like working. I've done work for the government.
Yeah.
But government never come to me and say, Lungelo, we are helping you establishing your museum.
Yeah.
I established this museum with my own capital, with my own, even in the studio, I'm paying my own rent, you know. There's no subsidy from the government saying that, okay, we'll pay you rent or we'll buy you material.
Yeah.
They never bought me no material and anything. The only time is when they see my work, we
will pay you.
Yes, you understand. So I wouldn't necessarily say from Department of Arts and Culture, I told you, no, from maybe some mayor's office or premier's office or whoever's office from the government. I never got nothing, no help. According to my experience, I don't know, maybe other people, they receive help, they receive sponsorship, they receive government funds, but with me, no.
You only work with them.
I only work with them only
someone
when they want something from me. The problem that we normally face as an artist in South Africa, especially when you're starting, the first problem is space, or working space. I'm an artist, I'm only one working space. Even with me, I struggled with working space when I started. And then you have to rent for a space, you need to buy your own material. If you don't have money to buy your own material, as much as creative as you are, but you cannot express yourself, you cannot do your creative work because you don't have money to buy the material, you don't have money to start to have the studio. Because working from home, sometimes you have so many problems, like there's ingans school, there's abazali, even if you work in a garage, the only time is when you're out there in a free working space like this one at the Pet Center, where you work with other artists, where you get inspiration. I mean, that's the first challenge. The other challenges is that you do your creative work, you do your work, and then after that you struggle to sell your work because of your target market. Sometimes we fail as artists to understand who is our target market. You know, you do a painting, then the painting stays for like a whole year without selling it. You know? So those are that's the other challenge that we're facing as I'm an artist. I mean, with me, I faced all those challenges as well, because sometimes you do storm, as you can see, we've got itombela dongin that I've done, but they're still here. They're supposed to go to the big money as well, but they're still here. Sometimes I want to was saying that no, I don't like it, you know. Sometimes I like it, but I can't afford it, you know. So those are all the challenges. Then you end up that that is supposed to be engabe ungena.
Oh, okay.
I will take you to the studio where the magic happens, where we actually do the statues. I'll take you through the process of what goes behind the scene when we're making the wax statues. This side here, we have. Okay. The side, this is the place where we create the statues. Here, this is the bust that King Zulitini. We're still working on it. These are all the tools that we're using to mold. Here are the brushes. Okay, these are the tools. And then the side we have the brushes. This is where I keep all the brushes. And this is my paint section where I keep all the paint, different kind of paint. Acrylic paints the side. The side is the spray paint. These are all gold and bronze metallic paint that I use. And then we can come the side. This is where I keep all the chemicals because I use different chemicals when I'm casting. When I'm casting wax, I mix it with different chemicals. You've got your PU foam, you've got your body double to make molds. This is where I keep all the chemicals.
Don't give us the secret recipes.
From the mold section, once the mold is done, it come to the side. La kwenziwa khona painting. From here, then iyapendwa. These are the ones that are painted. Once they are painted, the side is where we keep all the hands. This is my hand section. We've got different type of hands. We keep them here. These are all the hands. And we've got the legs here and the arms. And these are the molds that I use to make all the hands and everything. So yeah, that's the studio. The journey of 1,000 steps starts with the first one. So whatever you want to achieve, musa ukubuka khona lapha la ufuna ukuya khona, buka la uqale khona. Someone said to me, you don't have to be great to get started. Guys, you don't have to be great. You can, for you to start when the arts, you will be great, because you cannot be great if you haven't started doing nothing. You start something, then you become great. You understand? So for anyone who's out there who wants to do this, it's doable. Unfortunately, I'm the only one in the country who's doing this. Not just in the country, like around Africa. My only competitors are overseas. Because Lento, ngithathe phesheya vele New York. So right now, the young and upcoming artists, they bangasaba ukuthi wait, Lungelo. No, it's not my thing. You know, the fact that I'm the only one who's doing it is because I was brave enough to get started.
Yeah.
You know, it is true that I am 1 in a million because there is no one in the country out of 56 million people who is doing the wax statues. I'm the only one. You can do your own research. I've done my own research. So, not because I am monopolizing this.
Impressing yourself.
You know, this is not even an industry because there's no industry like this in the country.
Yeah.
Google wax museum in Africa or in South Africa, you won't find anything but this one. So I'm the only one who's doing it. So I'm saying to anyone out there who wants to do it, they can do it. It's possible. It's doable. I started from a humble beginning. I grew up until I became what I am today. But I'm not as great as what people think or as what you think. For me, what you see is just the tip of an iceberg. The only work has just begun.
Oh.